So, I am not much of a trace rifle guy, not for any specific reason. It's just something I've never really committed to unless I was using an exotic trace on some sort of warlock build. RIBBONTAIL might be changing that for me right now. I won't say that this weapon will be more desirable than the new spread shot hand cannon, but there is something here that might get some of you excited to focus this. Now, unfortunately, we are at the end of Arms Week, and this weapon will be tied to Arms Week. So depending on when you are watching this will depend on how much time you have to chase this. On top of that, the main focus of this week's Arms Week is that new hand cannon. So you would be at the complete mercy of RNG Jesus. So personally, maybe I'll wait to focus this specifically when it's the highlight drop of the next Arms Week. When that is, I have no idea, but you may have a shit ton of currency to use that you need to use before the week ends. So feel free to test those Arms Week engrams. Now, before we dive into RIBBONTAIL, just want to say if you enjoy the content and want more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified on when I drop my next video. With that out the way, let's jump into all the perks that can roll on RIBBONTAIL. So here on screen will be all the perks on this weapon. As per usual, we are labeling it so you can follow and reading this from right to left. All the way to the right, we have two origin traits here. The first one is tenacity. This is currently one of my favorites in the game right now. When targets are nearby, final blows grant weapon damage, reload speed, and handling until the wielder's death. This builds up to a max of 20 stacks, giving a total of a 10% increased damage, about 40 handling, and 40 reload when you have max tenacity. As you see, a powerful origin trait that is hard not to use when it's on a weapon. Underneath that, we have Amalon Fluid Dynamics. This weapon has increased reload speed and stability for the top half of the magazine. This is fine, but with tenacity, not really seeing how you are choosing this over the potential of what you can get with tenacity. So yeah, back onto the other perks. In column 4, we have Surrounded, Detonator Beam, Tear, Binary Orbit, Redirection, and Killing Tally. Next to that, in column 3, we have Envious Arsenal, Transcendent Moment, Subsistence, Threat Detector, Wellspring, and Proximity Power. And for the batteries or magazines here, we have Enhanced Battery, Ionized Battery, Particle Repeater, Projection Fuse, Light Battery, and Tactical Battery. So the perk pool here is fairly good, but I do think that maybe column 3 could be a bit better, but as you will see in the God Roll, one perk really makes up for it. So, for reference, when it comes to the God Roll now, the perks above the black bar are going to be the ones I consider the ultimate God Roll here. The perks under it will be fine alternatives, but for certain reasons, not the ones I desire the most. This, of course, could vary for you based on the details of each perk we talk about. So, for barrels, I'm going to go for Fluted Barrel. This gives +5 stability and a nice +10 handling. Handling would be ideal to focus here. The other stats are fine, but for trace rifles, boosting that handling is always a go-to in my opinion. For other alternatives here, honestly, just nothing that is a negative to handling. For magazines, I want to extend my magazine size, so in that case, Ionized Battery does just that. This brings our base 74 round mag to a 104 size mag. Just keep in mind the negative effect to your reload stat, which will be a -20 to that stat. However, something like tenacity, in my opinion, is perfectly fine to make up for that negative. And depending on the perk in column 3, you may not need to worry about reloading at all. Alternatives here for magazines will be Tactical Battery. This gives you a +10 to reload and a +5 to both range and stability, or you could use Light Battery. This has a +10 to both reload and handling. Any of these three are fine, just depends on what you want out of your mag here. In column 3, we have a few options. My top pick will be Subsistence. This is great for extending our mag with final blows and pairs great with the top choice we have in column 4. So defeating targets partially reloads the magazine from reserves. This will be a 10% of the magazines, give or take. This will be rounded up from reserves. It's simple and wonderful on a weapon like this. Alternatives here would be something like Envious Arsenal or Wellspring. Envious Arsenal helps reload this weapon without actually reloading. Just hit targets with 2 other weapons and bam, reloads the magazine. Wellspring would be solid for those looking to maximize your ability regen. This grants 8% ability energy split amongst all uncharged abilities. My go-to here will be Subsistence, but the other 2 options are incredibly powerful. Now in column 4, the top perk that stands out here is going to be Redirection. This is the first time a Trace Rifle is dropping with this perk, and Redirection on this weapon is incredible. So hits against minor combatants grants 2 stacks of Redirection. You will be triggering maximum stacks on this weapon. Very fast, very easy. Honestly, it might take you 1 to 2 enemies depending on the difficulty delta of what you're playing. Stacks remain active while stowed as well. Hits against elite or higher rank combatants consume up to 3 stacks that grant 33% increased damage per stack consumed. You will also be burning these stacks fairly quickly as well, but the damage buff, I believe, is very much worth it. This can be an incredible perk on a trace rifle, and honestly, it's shocking that this is the first of its kind when it comes to being on a trace rifle. It is kind of wild. I wish we got it sooner, but better late than never. Now, to be fair, redirection isn't the only perk that stands out. Detonator beam is a great one as well. So dealing sustained damage creates an explosion around the target. A fine perk that isn't exclusive to this trace rifle. You can find it on other recent trace rifles, and it is a very proven perk worth using if you get it to drop. Now for Masterworks with this God Roll, handling, like I mentioned before, is going to be ideal, but for other ones, you know, those other Masterworks are going to be perfectly fine. I don't think you should worry about a Masterwork unless it's PvP or a weapon truly needs one to help boost its stats. But yeah, that will be the God Roll, and frankly, that's going to be the video. I do want to talk about ammo regen with this weapon. They made a lot of changes to how ammo regen feels. It is in a much better place. So yeah, if you want to use this a lot more as a primary, just keep in mind that you maybe want to boost up your ammo generation a little bit, but in all, it should feel a lot better to generate special ammo bricks and heavy ammo bricks. Again, more work could be done, but in general, it feels like it's in a much better spot where that won't hinder this weapon. But yeah, having redirection on a trace in the kinetic slot is going to be a powerful choice when building out your loadout for higher difficulty content. While this isn't the only Strand Trace in the game, the other one is from a dungeon and doesn't have redirection, so I do think that this does take the edge, especially with a perk like tenacity. But also they have the origin trait from that dungeon, and that's also a great one. So yeah, I'm curious on your thoughts on this weapon and its potential God rolls. Leave a comment down below, we can have a conversation. Also, if you enjoyed the video and found it informative, be sure to drop this video a like, helps out the video a ton. And like I said before, if you want more content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified on when I do drop my next video. And as always, thank you for watching, it's greatly appreciated. Until next time, ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.